So if you've been looking for any really good farms for the First Descendant, you may have realized that most of them are group farms. Whether it be a specific area with super high density, whether it be a specific mission that gives you really good rewards, or whether it be the horde mode defense missions, pretty much all of the really good farms right now are group farms that requires you at least have a few people to farm them effectively. But most players are solo players, so I wanted to go over an incredibly strong solo farm that I have been using to farm for some specific rare items, but this farm is also very good if you're just looking for a spot to farm gold and Kuiper shards. Now this farm is going to be located in the Agna Desert, in the storage area of the Agna Desert, and it's going to be a mission called Previous Construct Team Quarters. And all this mission is eliminate the Vulgus occupying the old quarters. Now one of the reasons why this mission is so good is because it takes place right next to the marker that starts the mission, and it's all located in a very small area. Basically is all done around this small little building. So you start the mission, it's going to spawn a handful of enemies outside of the building, then you're going to make your way into the building, and pretty much all of the other spawns are either going to be inside of this very small building or right by the doors of this building. So pretty much once you enter this small building, you're just going to spin in a circle and kill everything that spawns, and then at the end it's going to spawn an elite. You kill that elite and the mission's over. And for me, this mission is taking 1 to 2 minutes. On average, I think I'm about a minute and 30 seconds. And you are killing quite a lot of enemies during that 1 to 2 minutes. And as mentioned, I've been doing this farm solo, so the time it takes to clear this and all the loot I've been getting is based upon doing this as a solo player. Now I did try it with some other players, and it can actually be quite a bit faster with more players. So if you have some friends you want to play with, you can still go do this farm and it will get even better, but it's still a very, very good for solo players. And there is a bunch of different reasons to do this specific farm, and the reason I was doing it is because killing the enemies in this mission have a chance to drop the Glacial Cloud Transcendent module for Viessa. That's the main thing I was farming this for, but killing the enemies in this mission can also drop multiple other Transcendent cards. So if you're planning on playing one of the other characters that can have a Transcendent card drop here, it'll be an even better farm if you're planning to do that into the future. And also keep in mind, in the First Descendant, it doesn't matter what character you're playing, you can still get any loot for any of the other characters as well. Now another reason to do this farm is the completion rewards, one of the really big ones being the Toxic Conductor module. Now this is an ultimate weapon module, so you can get this for all of the different ammo types, and what this does is when attacking enemies inflicted with poison, your firearm attack is increased by 8%, and that's at a base, so that's not even upgraded. And if you don't know how these different elements work, you don't actually have to be playing a class that can inflict poison with their abilities. You just need a weapon that has one of their roles as toxic attack, because that will also just have the chance to proc poison on the target. And what's super good about a lot of these ultimate mods that can increase your firearm attack is that special mods are in their own category. So let's say you're using other mods that already buff just your weapon's firearm attack. You can also use a ultimate mod like this with those other mods that are already buffing your attack. So if you're, say, using a weapon that can apply poison already, you can use this Toxic Conductor and mix it with other modules that also buff your firearm attack, and that'll just give you some absurdly high firearm attack for that weapon. And I think once we get more and more into the end game of the First Descendants, ultimate weapon mods like this are going to be used on basically every weapon. You're just going to get the elemental roll on the weapon you need, then you're just going to put on the corresponding ultimate module and just get massively increased firearm attack, because again, this is 8% at an unupgraded level. This thing's going to give you an absurd amount of firearm attack as you keep upgrading this mod, and this is just going to be an absurdly high damage increase. And there's also other reasons to do this farm, whether it be farming the reactor that's currently dropping at that mission, but that depends on what cycle we're currently on, or the weapons that are dropping from this mission, but the actual materials you're getting as drops from killing all the enemies here are actually really good as well. So the primary things I'd be talking about when it comes to dropping materials is Kuiper and gold, and just the sheer amount of items you're getting. So first off, just the sheer amount of items you're getting comes out to around 600 items per hour. Because as I mentioned, I was taking around a minute and a half, sometimes up to like 2 minutes per run, and I was getting around 15 items to drop per run. So right around 600 items, maybe if you're a bit slower, 500 or 600 items per hour. That's just a lot of potential rolls on things like weapons or reactors. You can also just dismantle all the ones you don't want, which will also just give you a bunch of resources to use in other crafts. Now, more importantly, we have gold and Kuiper, which are some of the most valuable items in the game. Now, gold is actually a lot higher than I thought it would be, because I was able to get around 75,000 gold a run. Now, keep in mind, these numbers are with gold and Kuiper boosts. So first off, the developers did give everybody boosts to all the different elements in the game. These are the boosts you can go buy in the shop, and they gave multiple of these out because of the server issues they had. So this is also counting a 30% increase in gold and a 30% increase in Kuiper shard gain. So that's at a base, so this will be lower if you don't have those boosts active, but this is also using the increases you can get from your different items. So on your memory slot item, I have a gold drop rate increase modifier. You can get that as a roll on your memory slot. And then on your auxiliary power item, you can also get a Kuiper shard drop increase as well. So if you have those items that give those modifiers, definitely use those. Those will be a pretty big increase. But with all of that taken into account on how quickly I can do these runs, I can get around 3 million gold per hour. And gold into the end game is actually a pretty big bottleneck. And then when we get to Kuiper shards, I was able to get around 200,000 Kuiper shards an hour. Now, there's actually a lot better areas for Kuiper shards and even for gold. I don't think there's a better solo farm that I've heard of that is as easy as this farm, that is as friendly to solo players as this farm, that gives as good gold or Kuiper per hour. And that's pretty much the entirety of this farm. Incredibly good for solo players, incredibly easy to farm, and very simple. You're basically just at this building, you clear out a bunch of waves of enemies, you kill an elite at the end, and then you're done. And the area to start the mission is right next to the area that you're sitting at to complete the mission. So there's almost no time between starting another run of the mission, and you don't have to move around a lot. So especially if you're a slower character, this is very good for that. And if you're using something like a machine gun that makes you move a lot slower, this is also very good for that. So break out the tamers for this farm, and it's going to be incredibly fast and incredibly easy to farm a ridiculous amounts of currency and a ridiculous amount of items. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.
Do you see the bogus building on the hill there? My teammates and I went through hell there to build the digger. Now, it's been hijacked by the bulls. I want you to take care of the enemy, while I check the danger of ground collapse when I blow up the spectral digger.
What is Kyle doing? Oh no, stop him! Ugh, I hate these noisy SOBs. We should take care of them first. They're making my ears bleed. Let's finish them. I guess that's the strongest one. Let's blow him up instead of the digger.
My shield is down.